Okay, Ji, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So before the break, we had an overview of what all could be there in the plan quality management process, or what all we need to plan in this process about the quality. Now, the two fundamental things here are the quality management plan and the quality management. Mine, you did well in the first 3 questions at least. नहीं आप like sir
टोटल कितने सवाल थे
अभी 3 चेक किए थे
वैसे टोटल सवाल कितने थे
6 साल हो गया
बस मेरी बात बताओ अभी ब्रेक फिर पेपर दूर दूर से लगा था कि आप उसको हाथ भी नहीं लगाया पेपर साथ था जब आप पेपर बहुत मुश्किल पेपर था
मैंने जो एमसीक्यूज है लास्ट 2 वो सर की तरफ से हैं बाकी सारे मैंने
एमसीक्यूज तभी टफ थे सारे
अच्छा
सर जो उसका क्या आंसर है मुझे ये बताइए कि वो जो था एक प्रोग्रेसिव इलैबोरेशन वो तीनों ऑप्शन थे
अच्छा हाँ 2 थी
लेकिन सर वो बात लॉजिक ये थी कि वो जो तीसरा पॉइंट था सी
वो
प्रोग्रेसिव इलैबोरेशन की डेफिनेशन थी वो एक प्रोग्रेसिव इलैबोरेशन की डेफिनेशन थी और एक प्रोग्रेसिव इलैबोरेशन और प्रोटोटाइपिंग और पार्ट्स ऑफ इलैबोरेशन लेकिन सर वो बात ये है कि वो जो प्रोग्रेसिव इलैबोरेशन की डेफिनेशन वो भी तो सीधी चीज
सर जी कौन सी वो नॉट है वो था कि इट्स नॉट दैट वो
पता चल जाएगा कोई आफ्टर सर बैठ
अच्छा आप एमसीक्यूज कर लेंगे सर
बैठ देखो अच्छा बैठ देखो हां चल और भी 2 लोग हैं
सर मेरे हैं
नहीं अब ऐसे नहीं है
सर मेजर से बता रहे थे
फिर इस तरह तो नहीं आप जो
अच्छा अभी से 3 सवाल चेक किए और मेरे एमसीक्यूज पे 10 नहीं है
चेक नहीं
10 नहीं
That's enough.
Yeah, that's enough. Okay. You score 7 again, 7.
See, sir, I told you, I can never become statement.
Like it is all the quizzes in cost, midterm, final. Whenever they are MCQs, 7 is maximum.
Really?
Always. We attempted the quiz and he is 7, right?
Yeah. I succeeded when I was preparing for the exams. The tough.
Okay.
Online.
Okay.
The lectures you had, और मेरी बड़ी honest opinion है आपको. They were so good. हमने ये है कि मैंने 1.7 आपको लगाया हुआ.
बस हम करना ही सीधा होगा. Otherwise,
it was so beneficial. मैंने proper उसकी notes बनाए और उससे मैंने काफी सारी यूज किया. आपको करना चाहिए.
Yes, sir. Good. Inshallah.
क्या मुझे पता बस सामने क्या
Okay. चलें. Right now. So in the quality management plan, obviously we will plan how we are going to manage the quality, how we are going to control the quality, right? So what all would be there in managing quality? What do you mean by that? Actually, there would be people during the work who would monitor your work and carry out certain maybe observations, follow some checklist, or they would just observe you that things are done the way they are defined, right? So first we need to define the processes here, then we need to ensure define a method through which we will ensure that those processes are followed. Sir.
You have to click that recording again.
Yeah, I did, I guess. I did. Okay, thank you so much. I did. Right? Then the first forward batch, or maybe no, not first. Yeah, I guess there was online after the COVID or something. I conducted a class, and then there were some people online, and there were some people sitting in the class. I didn't mute. I just left for the break. And then two girls sitting here, they were talking bad about their Sia. I was actually watching and listening her. And then after some time, Sia pointed out that this session is being recorded as well, and please mute it. Then Kenton said, please delete it, right? So I had to delete that beautiful. Right. So I hope you didn't stop recording because of that.
No.
No, okay. Right. So this year was here actually. Right. Okay. So in the quality management plan, we need to first define the processes, how things would be done, then how we will ensure that those processes, in other terms, that quality will be ensured, right? And then if we need to improve the processes or not, then how the quality would be controlled, right? So in the quality control, like what quality control measurements will be there, verified deliverables, what performance information, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now, this is the main concept of quality management is that it's better to plan in the quality, right? Rather than to monitor or control the quality. You need to understand this difference. It's important for you to plan in the quality rather than controlling the quality. What is the difference? If I'm not wrong, I might be wrong, I'm not a quality expert, but I guess it was the case with Toyota company. They, many of the quality concepts, they have come or originated from Japan. Because of the World War II effect, they had very limited resources, right? And they could not actually afford any reworks. So that means whatever process they would follow, they would ensure one thing, that it is done correct for the first time. Right? In the first attempt, this is done 100% as per requirement. Otherwise, resources are short. They cannot afford doing, redoing the things again and again. So that's why lean, methodology. What is lean? It is about reducing the waste, right? In the processes. If there's any extra step in the process, just eliminate that. So many of the quality concepts, Six Sigma and just JIT, right? JIT, just in time. All these concepts have originated mainly from Japanese, right? So okay, there was something specific about Toyota, if I'm not forgetting. Okay, there could be another organization, but I guess it was Toyota. They ensured one thing, and they said that we will define a process, and during the execution, we will ensure that that process is 100% followed, and once a car would be out of this process, we will not even test it. We will not even check it. That means we will not do the control quality work at all. Right? They planned in the quality in their process rather than waiting for things to come out or deliverables to come out and then checking it. If you even check at that stage, like God forbid, if I test you like in the finals directly, and then I come to know that you haven't learned anything, then rework obviously. This time I'm hoping a long summer will next class is not in your class, but in cost as well. Okay, as well.
The last was maybe some.
Yeah, but there were only 10 people, but this time it would be.
You want more money?
No,
Basically, you want more money.
No, you can find these 30 people.
I just not first.
Yeah, obviously. I'll be very much down.
मुझे लगा summer में कुछ और.
Okay. Right.
I was cutting when I was in San Diego and doing the anti-submarine report. Then there were two instructors. One was the Australian and one was the American. They usually
This too much, yeah.
after that I've seen.
Right. Okay. Right. So, okay. So we need to plan in the quality, right? Rather than we say, okay, we have some test at the end of the day. Once we'll get the deliverables, we'll just check that. Anything below the quality standard, we'll just send it back.
There was acceptance criteria.
Acceptance criteria.
It's just called management plan.
No. Acceptance criteria, yes and no. Let me explain that. For certain things, yes. For you. The quality aspects, yes. Now, how you would start preparing the quality? What a quality is? Can someone tell me? I've explained it earlier.
Sir, meet the exceed होता है कि it should gauge expectation or exceed expectation of.
Meet the mainly yes, exceed to some extent as well as per the documentation, but sir अभी इससे पहले ना सर ने कुछ 100 questions बोले थे। अच्छा ये तो बस
Third, 1/3 month off.
तो फिर तो बस 130 नंबर मिलेंगे। उन्होंने 100 answers दे के एक लिया, आप 300 दे के मैंने एक लिया। Okay, so but first I need to establish one thing, that what are the quality requirements? Quality is about what customer expects from the amount of money he or she is paying, right? Let's say if this is one mark, okay, the Mercedes car and the Suzuki Maran. So now if that Suzuki owner of Suzuki Maran, he or she is getting, let's say, whatever features he or she expect from that car in 15 lakh. That is the quality car for her. But a person who has paid maybe, let's say, 10 million for a Mercedes Benz, he or she is not happy with the features, but the amount that he or she has invested, and she thinks that I'm not getting the desired features. That means it is a low quality car. Although Benz is a high grade car, and Mehran is a low grade car. So that is grade which defines what we think is the quality, correct? So quality is about the customer centricity. Remember the Chuna Lagana thing? The white line, right? I told you that if the customer doesn't want this quality of paint, actually this is not very good, but let's say it doesn't want the paint at all. Just the line thing. Chuna laga de. If customer is happy with that white line, okay, that's fine. But if customer wants this thing, then this is the quality, right? So now how do you get to know what does customer need in terms of quality? Look, there are two ways, possible ways, through which customer would tell you. Number one, now this is important, this practical aspect is very important. And somehow there's some points in MSPM syllabus too, which are, taught maybe in a too generalized way. They are not taught in terms of project management specific to project management, right? You would have a feeling like you have already started the resource management, especially the HR.
Yeah.
That is all about the general organizations. That very little is there about. That's unfortunate. The syllabus is defined that way, but similarly in quality, you may have that feeling, right? So I just want that you, at least people in this class, you should not be showing okay, right? So let's say you should have a link that how quality is linked or how quality is managed in the project. Either you would be dealing with the customer directly and verbally, and customer may not have any idea about the quality requirements. The customer would just tell you a few things. Look, I want, right now we are two brothers in Pakistan, and my brother would be coming to Pakistan after 2 years. He would be returning back for 3 years, but for now, I only want 2 stories, and later on I'll build the third one. So now it is you, as a project manager, obviously there would be engineers under you, who would ensure one thing, the strength of the columns. You see, from the layman talk of the customer, you are driving the quality requirements. What should be the strength of the columns on which you will pour the slab or you will build the building, right? And do you need any network or any steel network? Do you want to lay it down or not? This would come from the requirements of the customer in layman terms. And he or she may say, okay, let me talk in Urdu because it's a layman language, right? I'll explain, what do you explain? The Chinese layman, right? Okay, just this time कि यार मैं नहीं चाहता कि इस बिल्डिंग बाद में ना बैठ जाए फर्श बैठ जाए the ground, right? It must not वो क्या कहते हैं नीचे compressed, yeah, low हो जाता है levels उसका level down हो जाता है, right? So I don't want that. I don't want that they should be short circuiting all the time. I don't want that, and what about that earthing thing वो बिजली चमके and okay, earthing तो कुछ mechanism it should be there. Now customer is giving you the layman requirements. And your team members, your engineers, they would drive those quality requirements that this person actually wants good wiring, good insulation, good breakers, right? Or fuses or something. So this is you who would translate things for them, correct? So the requirements could come in a layman terms, then it is your quality team, your engineers who would govern that what is the desired level of this person. Clear? Another way could be that customer may actually, you may have a written contract with the customer. Let's say many university wants to construct a hostel for them, and they hire somebody. Obviously, they will outsource this project to a builder, and they would call the builder, and our quality team, if it is there, would go and tell them that okay, European standards so and so, electrical standards so and so. They would define the clear-cut quality requirements, and they might even write it in the contract. Is it clear? So that means either through a layman person or from the contract, you will get to know the quality requirements. Further, you refine it by meeting the stakeholders. Obviously, is it clear? This is one. Okay, what if, like, whether customer says it or not, whether it is there in the contract or not, CDA has some requirements about the quality. They want that whenever a building is to be constructed, you need to follow these standards, means regulatory authorities. They would come in, they will check things, they will do all the inspections.
Also there,
Exactly, it's there in the requirement. Okay, if not, by CDA, maybe my organization, let's say I'm working in a magic room, they have a predefined standard. No matter what type of house you are constructing, no matter what type of building you are constructing, you need to follow our organization standards. Right? So you would get all these quality needs from someone, either from the customer, verbally, or written in the contract, or by the regulators, or by your own organization. Hello? By your own organization, right? जी वही मुझे पता चल रहा है, मुझे सोच भी समझ आ रही है. Okay. Right. If you would say anything else, I would just project it that so here now. That would be terrible. Okay. Now, I hope this is clear. So based on those quality requirements, I would now, you see, I will tell what kind of material I'm going to have, what kind of equipment I'm going to have. Even that means my resources requirement that I'm going to procure from the outside. You see, three knowledge areas: resources, procurement. Correct? Okay. And what about if do I have or possess the necessary capability or the competency? Like my men may not be very good at a particular field, so they might not be very good in that particular field. So even in that case, I need to hire or acquire these people from outside the organization. That means I need to tell my HR department to hire people, right? So resource management, not only the HR, but other resources plus the procurement, correct? So all these things would be affected by this. Is that clear? Okay. These estimates would actually affect the cost and the quantity as well. Correct? Is it clear?
Yes,
Okay. So now, after this preamble, detailed preamble, now I would just go to the slides. What is the difference between quality and grade? We have already discussed it. What's that, sir? Can you tell us?
सर जो ग्रेड होता है वो उसके जो टेक्निकल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं वो उससे डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं आप एक प्रोडक्ट को दूसरे प्रोडक्ट में.
Okay.
As far as quality is concerned, quality होती है जो जैसे मैंने मेजर बताया, जो एक्सपेक्टेशन ऑफ द कस्टमर होती है उसको मीट करना होता है या एक्सीड करना.
that will fulfill the requirements.
Requirements.
Requirements, right? The expectations. Huh?
One thing.
नहीं जब तक आप मांगते नहीं मिलेगा. The grade is a career scientist. Okay. So now, for example, it may not be a problem if a suitable low-grade product, one with a limited number of features, is of high quality. But when I say high quality, it means no obvious defects. Now, what does it mean? Like if some means if, whatever the level of my satisfaction is, if it is fulfilling
For instance, when you buy a mobile, right? उसको बिल्कुल ठीक सामने से कुछ भी होता है. Later on, it happens. तो कहते हैं हमारी जिम्मेदारी नहीं.
अच्छा नहीं यहाँ पे ना defects are a very specific term. You would actually study this. Defect is anything which is against my requirements. So right, if like if there's a mobile for which I have to drag, to move the screen. If that roughness is acceptable to me, this is not a defect. Correct? Defect is something if it deviates from my requirements. Right? You will study this thing in MSc actually. Okay. So grade versus quality, we already.
Quality, the grade is related to the number of features.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is related to the number of features and quality.
Quality is
the characteristic or the
acceptance and requirements, fulfillment of requirements, right? Okay, preventions versus inspection. So this is what I was telling you. Like prevention, keeping errors out of the process. I will define a process in a way. I'll do the things. Okay. Have you ever done some work that requires data entry? Like I do it all the time.
Yes.
Entry your marks, right? So there are two ways. One person is sitting, like let's say sir and they sit together, and I ask them to fill in the, let's say, all the marks. And similarly, you two may say, no, let's say this team, they are following a methodology. Sir is just calling the numbers and he's just entering. And no double check. And what's done? Now you will see, okay, try to check the errors. This is one way of. And what they are doing, ma'am is calling the number, she's entering, then she's checking the number, her entry, and she's checking what's there. So you are ensuring one thing. Tell me all the time that we want to avoid the error then and there.
That's why she's here.
Let's say if she is doing it, but it requires time.
yes.
Do you remember in cost of quality there was a thing, time required to avoid the error, right? So this is the time that you are paying. Okay, so you're doing the things in a way that you are keeping errors out of the process. Prevention. Inspection, keeping errors out of the hands of the customer. That is at the control point. You are not allowing the customer to see any product till the time your control quality process have verified that delivery.
So rework.
So that would go into rework action. Sorry? Here you are trying to plan in the quality.
सर जैसे आपने अभी एग्जांपल दी वो उन्होंने एंटर किया बाद में उसको चेक
Check किया, हाँ.
वो इंस्पेक्शन हो जाएगी.
Exactly. अब एक error आ गया. And you don't know at what point that error is. और ये कभी-कभी हो जाए लंबी लिस्ट में. It's terrible. और वो हमेशा निकलती खराबी ऊपर टॉप पे है. और अगर आप ऊपर से शुरू करेंगे तो नीचे होगी, right? Right. So prevention versus so we prefer prevention because inspection it still requires it saves you repute, but it still requires a lot of rework. There's no fun. I have prepared a product or deliverable, and now I say that before I show it to the customer, let's check it yourself. Okay, let's say you have checked and you have found that there are some troubles with that. So what you would do? You will do the rework. So that is a lot of wastage. Even it has not gone in the hands of customer, but still it's a wastage, right?
So inspection में time ज़्यादा भी लग सकता है as compared to the.
Okay, now that is the concept here. That is the concept here, and that is, do you remember the cost of conformance should be less than the cost of non-conformance. Now, if you are wasting that much time, which is causing so many troubles to you, And cost of wasting that time, if it exceeds that cost, so it is better to have that cost, right? If there's a risk, this is true about risk and poor quality, both of them. And I taught you this thing in the first semester as well. If there's a risk or there's a cost of poor quality, there's a thing, I didn't like it, I asked you to rework. And the cost of rework is 10,000. And
Actual cost.
if my quality people, they spend 50,000 to avoid this 10,000 cost, so they're stupid. So we could say, okay, let this cost be there because that will at least save my 40,000. Is it clear? So whatever cost of conformance, what is cost of conformance? Money spent during the project to avoid the failures. And obviously there's a cost of that, and similarly money spent during and after. During and after the project. Like during the project, what is that? During the project, my quality team, they are checking the things, right? And if some rework is done, like I haven't called my customer to validate the product yet, deliverable yet. My own control quality team, they have checked and they have sent it back for rework. So that would result in rework or scrap. That is internal failure, right? Before going to the customer. But if something is missed by the control quality team, then it would go into the hands of customer. And obviously they are going to, I may have to give some warranty work or loss of business or liabilities. So this is after the external failure cost is after the or outside the project, and this is within the during the project, correct? I already taught you, that's why I'm still I'm very quick in this. If you have anything you may ask, right? And what about cost of conformance? This is the money spent to ensure only one thing, that we don't want failures. So this is quality assurance, right? So that means once a truck would come, like 10,000 box that we were talking, and out of those 10,000, I'm taking up 20 or 15 and I'm breaking them as a sample. So what does it mean? I'm spending some cost. That is wastage at least. There would be some people who would be sitting there. There would be some machine that I would be using, right? So that is training, document, a process, equipment, time to do it right. All this is prevention cost. But then testing is there, destructive testing would be there, inspection. So this all is done during the process, correct? Now, what is this? The term levels may not be very good here, but try to figure it out what it is about. And which level would you prefer?
Sir, obviously, जब आप product बनाते हैं, when you make a product, there will be defects. Therefore, the requirements or acceptance criteria, this thing for the time. The acceptance criteria is not going to be fulfilled exactly the customer wants it. So you keep on fixing those defects. You keep on making the product according to the acceptance criteria that customer has given it to you, and the product is being developed according to the expectations. For instance, the development process जो आपने जो पढ़े हैं, उसी को बेहतर करते वो आखिर में वही product बन जाता है जो customer को चाहिए.
This is what Clarence knows.
Yeah.
Okay, we can manage quality or we can ensure quality in 5 different ways. These are the practices. The
So detect and correct the defects before the deliverables are sent to the customer as part of the quality control.
Okay, so you're right to some extent, but initially, or the traditional way that used to be there was, it used to be, and this is the most expensive approach, is to let the customer find the defects. That means we are not doing anything to ensure the quality. This was the traditional approach that used to be there. We are just producing things, and we have a after sales services department or quality person, right? So we'll just give it the way it is. That's it. We will not do anything to ensure the quality. So this was the traditional way of quality assurance. This approach can lead to warranty issues, recalls, loss of repute, and rework cost of risk, right? So anybody, like all those organizations, like a tailor maybe that level, right? They don't have any maybe defined quality standards for that, unless he is or she is intentionally following some practices that ensures the quality. Like there are people who don't know that they are following the quality. It is there in their process. It is embedded, but they do it unknowingly, right? So if it is there, we should.
So I was talking about so अब क्या कर रहे हैं there is an automated automated call ठीक है और इसमें डाटा की रिकॉर्डिंग है और बता रहे हैं 20 आवर तो आप निकले मुल्क के I've never seen this system before.
ये लोग पहले जलसे से 11 वाला जलसा तो उसको मुझे रखते हैं।
अच्छा
Okay, right, okay. So now this is the most crude and expensive way of ensuring the quality. Actually, you're not doing anything to ensure the quality, right? So what is this? This is the next. People realize that okay, no, we need to detect and correct the defects. But when you will detect, once after that means there would be somebody at the control quality point, and once the deliverable is out, at that time they will check. But again, rework is there. It will save us from the warranty losses. It will save us from the bad refutes or things like that. But definitely, it is going to have the. So they are sent to before they are sent to the customer. So the control quality process has a related cost, which are mainly the appraisal cost. Right? Okay. Then use quality assurance to examine and correct the process itself and not just the specific defect. Now things are better. Things are improving, right? If you have seen your PM or post online, I just say probably alhamdulillah. I mean, not shopping but I say probably, and that is this quality like they used to be totally different mechanism of PM subject. Like we used to have one report at the end of the semester, and that's it. Right? That's it. Only 20 marks presentation was there. 50 marks of report, 30 marks of Viva. Actually, there was nobody used to study those or read those reports. You would come in the Viva, I would ask you 4 or 5 questions from the report or ask you to perform certain things. And even if I would study your report, I would realize that, oh my God, this person doesn't know anything. But this would happen just after the final exams. And I would have nothing, no choice, except either you fail you. There was no correction that I could apply actually. For arguing, we can cut down this lecture with the best in terms of the performance on this. Cut down swap. Like exam, the exam is obviously the once they're out, it's like gamma much of sure much of people here they get disturbed. And then there would be people. अगर आप अपना काम पेपर दे रही हैं, आपकी जब बेस्ट फ्रेंड क्या अम्मा जान की बात इधर आके लिखेंगी ना उनको पता चल रहा है how much is left वो किसी चीज पर तो कैसे पता चलेगा और ना आपने छोड़ के आना अगर आपको आता है अच्छा कई तो कॉल करना शुरू कर निकलते हैं जैसे कॉल करना शुरू करते हैं मोबाइल इधर पड़ रहा है भाई तो नहीं देखेगा वो तो बैठा अभी तुम भी क्लासरूम में okay अब तुम्हें जाके बताना सर okay now use quality assurance to examine and correct the process itself and not just the specific defects. Incorporate quality into planning and designing of the project or product. So that is better thing. This is what I was referring to. This is our use case, right? Yes, you think before you do. To define a process. Okay, then what next? Create a culture throughout the organization that is aware and committed to quality in processes and products. Now, this is very important.
अगर आप लोग explain कि but it is advanced, कि आप भी कौन सी advanced approach है, that is that you examine yourself, correct the defects yourself,
Exactly.
make the planning and the designing aligned together, and then
Then usually these things would be ensured, like your cost of these things would reduce actually, right? So, okay. And the last thing is about the culture, and what is that? Everybody who's doing some work, like I'm teaching something, I need to work on the qualities, right? I need to think all the time, continuous improvement should be there. This time I'm teaching this course, next time it should be better. And you as a student should realize you should give actually serious feedback. That only then things would improve.
Consciousness.
That is a culture action. Right? And this term it triggered like in 1999, 2000, the ISO. At that time, the quality culture, the safety culture, that came in, right? So and it was heard all like along the organizations. But what is the culture? Unfortunately, even after studying this all MSPM things, the culture is not developed. How do we do things like, okay, in MSPM, I've studied, there should be a lesson learned. Okay, if you studied, the first condition is if you studied, and if you retained that knowledge, then, okay, there should be a lesson learned. Okay, there should be a lesson. Now, the boss would say there should be a lesson learned. But after like spending 1.5 years on the project, now project is about to finish. And during last week, oh, I have to do project closure. Let's prepare the lesson learned register now. So that is not the culture. Culture, if it had been a good culture, project management culture there, then everybody on that project team would have learned things. Look, it's very difficult. Like I've learned one thing. We are lagging like in terms of syllabus, right? I've learned it.
Yes.
But do you think, yes, you see? Now, if I need to write down the lesson learned so that syllabus is revised for betterment, the first thing I need to do is tell my program manager, sir, I could not cover the syllabus as per the course outline. This is the first thing. And if I'm thrown outside the window because I couldn't follow that, then that means I'm not promoting that culture. My boss is not promoting that culture. You see, so this if this culture is there, you would feel that essence, that the thing everywhere around you. Everybody would be talking in the same terms. Now, the plan quality management is a process of identifying quality requirements and or standards for the project. Now, I guess it would make some sense to you. We have already discussed a lot about that. Okay, test and inspection planning. During the planning phase, the project manager and project team determine how to test or inspect the product, right? So that means we are talking about control quality here. I hope this is clear. Testing and inspection is done generally during the control quality. Deliverable service to meet the stakeholder need are okay. The test and inspections are industry dependent and can include, for example, alpha and beta tests for softwares. We must have heard strength tests in construction projects, inspection in manufacturing, and field tests in blah, blah. I prepared just after during my MSPM degree, I did my TNT and I became a TNT trainer, right? And I had only 1 month to prepare the lecture because I got a project right away at that time. A good project I had for a corporate training. It was a good, like in terms of money. I didn't want to refuse, so I called my cousins and I offered them that I just want one thing. PIMBOK guide pasted 10 lines, this much, when you paste things from PDF, there are some problems with that. Formatting it, right? 10 lines or 10 points. Sorry, this much font, this much spacing, this much, and I want this for every chapter of the PIMBOK guide and read up. So, depending on the page, number of pages I will do, they will discuss us. So, somewhere like 1,500 per lecture, but they did it for me within like maybe 2 or 3 days. But they are defined one thing: 10 errors per 100 slides, not more than that. If that happened, I deduct 20 marks, right? So actually, I deduct 50 rupees. Actually, so this is how things are done. Like, well, this is what I have defined. If you are any one of you have done some freelancing jobs in the, or data entry jobs, उसमें भी इसी तरह के they enter some conditions that these are the allowed mistakes, right? So this is the quality management plan. First of all, it is just like other plans. One of the plans that should become part of the project management plan. Like out of those 12 subsidiary plans, this is one of the plans, right? Okay. Now, what is there in this plan? It describes the activities and resources necessary for the project management team to achieve the quality objectives set for the project, right? And I hope you understand how this is linked to the resources now. Look, resources are of how many types? Obviously, there are many types of it, but generally speaking, What are these three types? The human resource and materials and machinery to equipment, right? Okay. So now I would say that, okay, let's say if a resource, human resource is not available in any of the departments in the organization, if nobody is there in the whole organization who can perform that particular work, so I would bias it, that I would tell my HR department to acquire that. Similarly, if no department, holds any resource that I need,
Request.
obviously, I would ask the procurement department. Similarly, for material, if I have that material, I will not call anyone outside. But if I don't have, I would obviously request the procurement. So procurement department and the HR department, they are the keys to acquire the resources from outside. Okay. So, but what would be the quality of those resources or the desired grade actually? The desired grade is quality, right? So that would come from this. The quality management comes from quality standards that will be used by the project. Now, I hope you understand that the layman person would tell you, or it would be written the European standard, the construction standards also, the electrical standards also, correct? Okay, quality objectives of the project, quality roles and responsibilities, correct? Project deliverables and processes subject to quality reviews. You see? But all things, obviously, you will not check everything on the project. But whatever things you will check.
आप देखो उसके पास जो क्वालिटी है वो उसके मुताबिक है जो
For those processes, we need to check all the time for improvement. For improvement, right? Are they going to the design of it? Similarly, all those deliverables, like those I will check, handles I will check, but will you open these handles? Maybe no. You will check right? So there would be some items that you will check. There might be some deliverables that you might not check. But whatever things you need to check, you will write it down. You will plan it, write it down. Correct? Then quality control and quality management activities planned for the project means manage quality and control quality. Whatever things you have to do, inspections, testing, whatever. Quality tools that will be used for the project, these quality tools you would study. Fishbone diagram, the control charts, right? And similarly, tally sheets, check sheets, right? C chart space. Here, see around here, MEC. Okay, so you will study these tools, obviously. Whatever tools are required, right? Then major procedures relevant for the project, such as standard diagram, exactly. Such as dealing with the non-conformist. If a non-conformist occurs, something is rejected, then what to do? There should be a procedure defined for that too. So everything is written in what? In the quality management plan. Correct? Diagram, yes. The Ishikawa, the fishbone, the cause and diagram, this are missing one. Ishikawa. Now, a quality metric specifically. Now, the other things, other than the plan, you will get some matrices. It could be anything. Like, do you remember the control? Do you know what a control chart would be? Like, let's say this is your desired, let's say, height of the door. Correct? So, let's say it is 7 feet. But every time it will not be 7 feet all the time. Maybe this corner might not be the 7 feet tall or ye wala now maybe. So in that case, we say, okay, 7 feet plus minus what? Maybe some centimeters, right? So I would say 7.1 maybe. High level. This is your height level, and this is my lower level. This is 6.9. So anything within this is acceptable. So all those laws of measurements that would fall under this, obviously I'll accept this. Actually, these control charts are more relevant in terms of routine operations. Look, and this is what we do in the filing too. If you have been there, like you apply some correction. If in production process, every time, although within limit, every time you are producing this, what does it mean? There's a problem. This machine requires calibration. There's an error. Every time it is reading high or reading low. Aiming high or aiming low, right? So you need to calibrate it. Or if, let's say, first reading was here, second here, third here, and from 7th year. So what does it mean? There's a trend of deterioration. Correct? So you will study all these concepts in MEC in the first semester, but this is one of the tools that we use, or this could be one of the matrices that we may use. Is it clear? Okay, some example of percentage of tasks completed on time. Now you see quality, time related. How many times it happened that our projects would, our tasks were delayed? So this will speak about my quality of the time management. Correct? Cost. Do you remember that? CPI, right? Then failure rate and number of defects identified per day. Right? So score for engineering related quality. So total downtime per month, like in some systems, how many times it happened with my system, it went down, or it was not available. Right? System failure. Errors found per line of code, like I did this was in the software too. So customer satisfaction scores. So there could be any matrices that will tell you about the number of defects, the frequency of defects, or the level of satisfaction that you are getting. So there could be many matrices. It could be simply a table, right? I may say that, okay, at the end of that, let's say this degree or this course, I would ask these questions from my student. And that will give me an idea of the level of quality that was there in this course. Right? So this is a matrix. That's it. Clear? Now, so focus of project quality management is what? Not only the deliverables, but the processes as well. Correct? So intermediate deliverable and obviously the final deliverable. And similarly, technical processes like in construction, I said that I will mix the sand with the crush with and cement in this ratio. So that is technical for that matter, right? But what about managerial meetings, the project management things, right? So are the communication? Is there not many things like many times what happened? We start, we generally send a return, monthly return. Now that return is never used afterwards, and we keep getting so many pages, and nobody bothers to even look at that. So that means our communication management process need to revise this process, reduce those requirements if they are not needed, even reduce one extra column which is not needed. Correct? So technical processes and managerial processes, all of them.
So the quality assurance look after the processes and quality control the products.
The product deliverables. Actually, quality assurance also ensures that deliverables are created in the following the same that particular process, right? Okay, now this is kind of your handouts may not reflect whatever it is there. Although this diagram is there, but with animation I will try to explain it. Whatever I have taught you so far, this will sum up everything, right? So I would request all of you to please focus. People sitting online, please, you too, stay involved in it. So project requirements defined by the customer. Do you remember? It could be in written form or it could be as 11, right? And then project requirements defined by the team, right? So based on whatever discussion they had or whatever is written in the contract, based on that, they would define. And accordingly, project scope is defined, correct? Gathering the requirements and then scope definition. Okay. Now, this green dotted or dashed area, this is the quality management, right? So scope is outside it, collect requirements and blah, blah, blah. So we entered into the quality. Here, there might be some OPAs, some quality processes, procedures already there in my databases, in my OPAs. Yeah. Number two, available EFs, some industry standard, or I told you that external, some regulators maybe, right? And or my own organizational requirements. Correct? Yes. So culture, then very right. Very right. So now the quality department input. So customers requirement plus whatever we have about the quality. So available quality standard policies and matrices, correct? All together, combined together. Any additional procedures or matrices required? Sometimes Other than yes, it's there in the OPAs, okay, but there's something that is required for the first time. First time we are doing it. Obviously, I need to define
So
it.
international standards are not.
International, yes, international could be there. Like
EFs में नहीं आते.
हो जाएगा नहीं EF पे आते हैं सुने EF पे आते हैं but there's something which is not defined by this is the unique nature of the work that is there project में इसी के पहले ये process हुआ ही नहीं है we are doing it for the first time right okay now additional standards so all this would actually combine together we will put it into the quality management plan correct so now this
The relatable OPS and relatable EFs of the product relatable you're making, you're going to put that in quality management.
yes exactly actually your plan is related only related actually your plan would finalize that these are the quality requirements and actually that would go in the collect requirement process but based on that you will define how you are going to ensure those requirements how you are which processes you are going to follow and how you are going to check that correct okay so now बस 10 मिनट और 5 मिनट और थोड़ा सा बस कोशिश कीजिएगा so it will be linked this quality management plan with other knowledge areas right and other processes I gave you 3 examples procurement resources की requirement the cost and the schedule obviously correct execution of the project management plan obviously this plan will become the part of the plan integration okay and during the execution again what quality people would do manage the quality they will do audit process adherence and continuous improvement of the process following the processes they will ensure that right and what about control quality they will check the deliverables those deliverables will be measured against those matrices and plans and if something is not coming up to the requirement that deliverable will be sent back for project work right and once work will be performed these people will check them so this is about quality this green area is all about quality plan was made it became part of the project management plan execution started during the execution managed quality people they observed it and when deliverables came the control quality checked those deliverables right still you want to actually we want to reduce it kyota nahi hai and that's what the thing was if you are that much sure निकालने को control quality you will see very little effect of that
Sir, I would like to answer one summary. जैसे मैं पीछे पढ़ा था समझ के आप इम्प्रूवमेंट करते जा रहे हैं आप मैनेज कर रहे हैं आप की तरफ से कर रहे हैं बट यू कीप ऑन इम्प्रूविंग दैट इज आल्सो आप मैनेज करके आपने आपका बन गया अब ऑब्वियसली आपकी प्रोडक्ट कभी भी वो नहीं होती है जो आप मेन से करते पहले हो फिर आप उसको कंट्रोल करने के लिए क्योंकि वो प्रोसेस कहां पे गलती होती है फिर आप कंट्रोल करने के लिए यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई मीन राइट नाउ
okay for example if I keep you teaching with full energy and I don't take your final exam I should have faith in what I'm teaching but I don't have faith in you guys actually there's no quality culture there in this organization if I would have some say there in the induction process and you had some say in the hiring process of teachers probably we okay जी आगे चलें
सर ये जापानीज ने वर्ड निकाला इशिकावा आपने कहा था फिशबोन डायग्राम
बेटा।
इसे तो कंटीन्यूअस इम्प्रूवमेंट के लिए भी वर्ड है कैंपेन है इसका
नहीं कैंपेन भी है एक और भी है
कैंपेन का उसको कहते हैं चार्ट्स
JIT के साथ है वो
हाँ, JIT के साथ।
जिस आर्टिकल में पढ़ा वो JIT लिखा उसके नीचे वो है मेरे को नाम याद नहीं आ रहा okay so now manage quality results analyze and control quality से which results आएंगे deliverables आएंगे how many defects we are getting so those results would be analyzed obviously and what would we get 15 मिनट है okay बस last 5 minutes okay so verify deliverables right and then work completed customer acceptance closure की तरफ जाके and what about other thing lesson learned obviously ठीक है OPS shared with the organization and obviously now these are the changes that we are talking about in the rework changing the process right
but that analysis has been done by the company itself ना तब
yes
changes
yes बिल्कुल ऐसे ही
कस्टमर की तरफ से तो
हाँ इससे वो analysis से इसको बहुत ध्यान करके ना सोचें If I have obtained a deliverable and I have checked in the control quality and this is rejected, obviously it's not going to, it is not a verified deliverable. I will learn some lessons. Plus, I need to do some rework. I need to do rework, and that rework would cost me extra. That would require some changes. Obviously. Then उसका पैसा नहीं, until unless I have kept some contingency reserves. So that change request would go into which process? Perform integrated change control process. Perform integrated change control. All change requests go to this process. And there in the change control for formal approval. Correct? There's a process called as perform integrated change.
That is going to, sorry. जैसे अभी change request डालें तो that is going to go to perform integrated change control system.
Change control process. There's a process
which is called perform integrated
change control. And that process, there would be a change control board who would evaluate, approve, reject, or defer that change.
Why it is called perform integrated change?
This is the name of the process. Therefore, like you have studied this process for
So how do you explain this?
Huh?
So that I'm explaining it because our performance integration.
Sit एक नहीं होता सुने मैं बात सुन actually मेरा the complete entire effect of your change request will be analyzed, correct? Like there's a person who's saying that, sir, can I switch my class to my Wednesday lesson? So this is a change request, but on Wednesday are you available? There's one effect on the students. Do we have a spare room on Wednesday?
Multiple classrooms.
Right, so there are multiple effects. So that person initiate that project or that change request, sorry, to some individual. I want to delay an activity by 10 days. So that person is concerned only about the schedule. Then it is project manager who would see its effect on the procurement. Do I need to delay the procurement as well? Do I need to shift other activities on that day or something? What will be its effects on overall project duration? Maybe we have enough float. In that case, it may have no effect on the overall project duration, right? So this whole effect is analyzed and then approved, or change requests are either approved or rejected or deferred for some time. Right?
ये चीज अगर हमारे पास कोई अगर हमें रिपोर्ट करने की जरूरत है तो फिर वो हम रिस्क मैनेजमेंट प्लान में भी लिखेंगे कि ये चीज हो सकती है ड्यूरिंग क्वालिटी कंट्रोल क्वालिटी
अगर आप yes, this time you have established it and now okay यार this may happen in future as well. तो फिर आप एक ही दफा देखें, एक तरीका ये है I address that change then and there और खत्म कर दूं. Okay, next day again we will have a defect. Again I request, so it's better to correct the process, and that is managerial process. Please include this thing in your contingency reserves by identifying these risks. Correct? Okay, so PICC would perform integrated change control. ये lecture वो दोबारा देखें जो मैंने दिया हुआ है. Lecture 12 ऑनलाइन में देता हूँ दोबारा आज. PICC आपने तो लास्ट में 3 पहले की और लास्ट में देखना. Okay, sir आप लास्ट में देखिएगा.
और लाइक सब्सक्राइब और बेल आइकन.
नहीं वो नहीं अभी उस लेवल में नहीं पहुंचे. Okay, so PICC it will, let's say, approve that reject. Accordingly, your plans would be adjusted, and now you will start execution according to the new plans. Correct? So again, you will, while work would be carried out, ensure quality or manage quality will ensure that all the processes are followed. Now the new ones and deliverables would come out, and again this process would continue. Clear?
Yes.
Validation इस process में भी नहीं है. Validation
ये साथ है ना, ये कंट्रोल क्वालिटी में. अच्छा, इसके बाद ये मैं सुनो ये इस पूरे का जो फोकस है ना वो क्वालिटी है, वो स्कोप का पार्ट है. करेक्ट? सो दैट्स व्हाई जब ये डिलीवर वेरीफाई हुआ इसके बाद क्या हुआ, ये इस जगह पे हो रहा है, ये इस जगह पे होगा ना. बस हाँ वो मैंने उस तरह अलग से बाहर प्रोसेस
हो जाएगा तब वो करना मैनेजर. जब ये सारा चेंज रिक्वेस्ट भी होगी वो दोबारा
वो डिलीवरेबल बनता जा रहा है. जो बनता जा रहा है वो इसको अगर आप यहाँ पे करते हैं ना, आप आगे स्कोप की चीजें डिफाइन करना शुरू कर दें तो दिस इज वैलिडेट स्कोप एक्चुअली कस्टमर की तरफ से जब आते हैं. करेक्ट? अच्छा जी, who benefits from the quality planning? Everyone actually. मैं एक देख लूं बस ठीक है 2 slides हैं. Okay, who gets the benefit from the quality? Everyone, right? If you don't understand and meet the stakeholder expectations, they are not going to be happy. And unhappy stakeholders means the project has failed. So there's a lot of time, money, stuff wasted. Then project manager and project team also benefit from the quality plan because there's a less reworking, higher productivity, and more efficiency when following a quality plan. Last but not the least, the customer or the end user benefit. So everybody gets benefit of all stakeholders. So ये तो पक्का एक question हो गया. Okay, as usual, adaptive. बस एक ही slide. So what is there? Now actually whatever the major chunk of adaptive was there. For all other knowledge areas, remember one. In journal, in scheduling, we plan the whole schedule. But in case of adaptive, we plan sprint by sprint. Correct? Okay. Similarly for cost, obviously we'll have a broader cost estimate, but we'll plan things sprint by sprint or iteration by iteration. Similarly, now if you see this, in order to navigate changes, agile methods call for frequent quality reviews. And you know the retrospectives जो हम करते हैं.
How it was very bad. Phases में हो रहा होता है, so
Exactly, जितने sprints में. So recurring retrospective regularly check on the effectiveness of the चुप कर दे quality processes. They look. आखिरी slide है भाई. अब इसको छोड़ दूँ क्या? Okay, let's.
5 मिनट करते 8:30 में पहुंचे.
finished at 8:30.
Yeah.
It's already 30.
So if you would not have stopped me, अभी तक ये खत्म हो जाता. You see? Okay, yes. So subsequent retrospective every time improves. Like the first iteration would be the worst one. Then the next would be the better one. And then, like I start checking your papers, the first 2 or 3 papers, you know, they are actually normal for me. Okay, 0.25 marks, 0.75 marks, okay, change it. So we started with 0.75 to to make it 0.25 so after some adjustments, like maybe 4 to 5 papers, next 4 to 5 set of papers, they are better for me to check. Easier for me to check because process is improved by that time. And then uske baad to फिर the paper में आपने करनी है भाई. Okay, then I have no hopes there. Okay, in order to facilitate frequent incremental delivery, agile method focus on small batches of work, incorporating as many elements. So that whatever this all means. That here we are trying to improve quality for every task. Right, as we are trying to refine the requirements, similarly we are trying to, you know, improve the quality as well through retrospective. So that's all. So that was all about quality. In the next lecture, I will cover all the remaining knowledge areas. Why? Because most of them you have already studied. Correct? You have studied the communication, the resource management, the और क्या था stakeholder, cost वाला तो हम आज हम कर भी गए, ठीक है? बाकी रह गया risk and procurement that you are already studying. Let's take it. Okay, let me mark the attendance. Online people, are you there? If not, come back please for the attendance. Okay.